This video will demonstrate how to produce the scatter chart that you see on your screen here on slide 27 of chapter 3. Let's get into it. You'll need the Electronics.xlsx file from chapter 3 data. This process is relatively simple, although it's the fine-tuning that you'll find is the challenge. First, let's select our data. The portion that we need is here from cells B2 to C11. Once we have our data selected, we're going to come up on the Insert tab of the ribbon to this Scatter Chart button right here. Once we select it, we'll find that there are several choices. We want the very first one, which is just Scatter. Clicking on this button will make it permanent, and we can now begin to edit. So if we compare this to our desired scatter chart, there's a couple things. Well, one, we're missing all these nice helpful labels, and we don't have the trend line. Also, we have some unnecessary grid lines. So probably we'll start with the trend line. If we push this little green plus button, after all, it's a plus, we want to add something. So let's choose the plus and then pick trend line. So as you can see, we didn't get the solid line that maybe we wanted. So to get this, we come into our options, which is this little arrow button, just like we had on the value field settings from the previous video. And we'll choose more options at the bottom. Now we look up here, this one over here is giving us the fill and line options. So we'll choose this set of options, and then we're going to change from automatic to solid line. And then we have our color, transparency, width, compound type. These are all fine. It's the dash type we want to change. You see we are right now on the round dot, and we want to be on solid. So when I change to this first option, to the solid choice, you see that our line is changed to the right style. Now, if you think it's not quite thick enough because it doesn't match the original picture, you can increase the width here, and that seems a little more true to form. And the color's not exactly the same, but that's good enough for now. Okay, so step one, get rid of the, to add the trend line. Perfect. Step two, which I was getting ahead of myself, is to get rid of these grid lines. So all we have to do is click on them. So you see what I did. I clicked on the line itself, and these little dots pop up to show you that I've done it correctly. And I can just choose no line. I'll do it again for the horizontal lines, no line, and they go away. Nice and easy. Okay, so what else do we need? We need helpful titles. Now we have a blank for this title, but we don't have anything for our axis titles. So we're going to return to our handy-dandy chart elements button, the green plus sign, and choose axis titles. Now it's always important that our axis titles be something useful, and in this case we're already given kind of what they probably should be, which is these labels over here. So obviously the number of commercials is the one that's the small numbers, so number of commercials, and our vertical axis is sales volume. Now sales volume, we need to know what units these are in. Our data doesn't actually tell us, but the textbook, the publisher slides do. This is in hundreds of dollars, which is very important. You can imagine that if you ran 5 commercials and only made $60, you weren't doing very well. But in this case, we're still only making 60 hundreds, which is 6,000. It's not actually very good. And finally, our chart title. Now, it's always tempting to just say, oh, this is sales volume by the number of commercials run. But this really is quite unhelpful, and you really need to provide something a little more high level. So I might call this something like Marketing Report for San Francisco Electronics Store. Something like that. Then you might decide you want it to look prettier by, adding in a return, or you can forcibly shrink the box. But if you do that, then it starts getting harder to see. I don't even know how to do it because I don't ever bother doing it this way. If you want it to stay centered, this is the way that I always do it, you can. There is a way to edit the box size directly. I don't even try to do it, so I'm not even sure what it is, but you're better off to just put the break where you want it, somewhere in the middle. Call it a day. I find that that's easier without messing up your alignment. Okay, what are we missing? I mean, we can make things bold, you know, we can make these prettier. So you notice I'm just clicking on things, whatever I want to make bold, and I'm clicking the bold sign. Let's see. So in order to make the borders thicker, I'm clicking on this and then increasing the width. It's not super exciting. What else do I want? I might just do this. Sure, there are some other things. This is all totally cosmetic, and honestly, I don't really bother with these. If you're going to take away the grid lines, do you really need those tick marks? I argue not. So, yeah, that's the highlights. We'll end it there.